welcome to Where's Wilmington? I'm Lisa Capalla, but then you already know that. We are here today to talk to author, actor, model, but now mostly an author, Robert Jeffrey Grant. He's going to tell us about these two books, what he's doing with them, and why he writes. Thanks so much for being with us.
Well, thank you, Lisa. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. So you're a local boy makes good, really.
Yes.
You were from Mattapoisett area.
That's right.
And now you live in the Florida area.
Yes, the past
But you're
6
really
years.
here to talk about these two little gems.
Yes.
Tell me about, this was your first work,
It
The
was.
Two Bottle Dolphins. Tell me about how someone goes from an idea in their head to a book,
Okay.
an actual living piece of prose.
Okay, basically it was inspired, strangely enough, by a movie, One Night at McCool's. And I found it was interesting because the female, Liv Tyler, plays the female lead, and the three men, Matt Dillon, Paul Reiser, and John Goodman, all saw her in a very different light. And I wanted to plug into my own life. Is there anything in my own life going on that's similar to the movie? And there was a pool hall across the street from where I lived at the Dunes Hotel in Sunny Isles, Florida. It's kind of like a low-rise, funky hotel. And basically, I thought of the people there who were transplants. The bartender was from Spain, and the pool shark was from Venezuela, and I added two other characters, one based on myself up in the Northeast, and one, the female lead, happened to be from the Midwest. And so I basically wrote the first draft in 7 months.
Wow.
And, but that was the genesis for the
That's pretty fast, 7 months.
Yes.
What is your particular methodology for writing? My background is writing, and I know that different writers approach things different way.
Right.
Some write the ending first, some have chapter outlines. What's your particular way?
Yeah, for me, it's not very schooled at all. I looked at things in terms of either an action writer or a suspense writer. If you are an action writer, you do need plot-driven, and outlines help that very much, as opposed to a suspense writer who, I always think, if I don't know where I'm going with this, haven't drafted an outline, then the reader won't know either.
Right.
And so that basically is how I've done not only novels, but come to eventually write screenplays and a sitcom pilot. However, with the sitcom pilot, I did write in beats, moments of discovery, and that ending was mapped out. But yes, for the novels and short stories, no.
How is it different writing a screenplay than it would be writing a novel? I think most people think when you see adapted from the novel, and you've read the novel first, some of us get a little bit upset about how the story changes. So either doing an adaptation or from direct creation, how is it different writing screenplay work than it is straight prose?
Well, it's interesting. I learned how to do everything on my own. In other words, I went to Stonehill College, but I only had the basic type of creative writing courses and did not major in English at all. But I did just basically follow my instincts. I would write notes on the side, something that I know people like Dostoevsky did, and not to compare myself, but that's the style that I didn't get too far ahead, and I would just review the 3 or 4 pages that I've written the prior day for the novel, and it really worked. But with a screenplay, I just basically got a book at Barnes & Noble and learned how to do it. And you have to take a few more things into consideration in terms of what would look good on screen. And I mean, imagery is important in my novels, but probably more so.
So you have to really kind of get into your head visually and sort of see how it would play out. More so than thinking about the words, the sound. Maybe it's a different piece of your mind that you're using to get there.
It is, absolutely.
What's going on with these two books? Because I know you're here to tell us more than just how you got to them, but what's going on? Okay,
I've done a couple local signings, one in the Barnes & Noble in Bellingham, Massachusetts a couple weeks ago, and one at Bev Loves Books in Rochester, Mass. And basically what that is doing is wrapping up the short story collection with the 11 tour, where I was in South Florida, of course, where I live, and Minnesota this past October. And this is a very abbreviated tour, whereas I did a 7-state tour with the novel and hit places like Las Vegas and the Midwest and St. Louis, festivals and bookstores as well, and 3 states, I'm sorry, in the Northeast for the novel, the prior tour. So this was a very abbreviated tour, and the reason why is because I'm doing a second novel, so I was in that creative process and took some time.
Now, it's unusual, I think, for an author to write a novel first and then short stories. Usually it kind of goes the other way. Can you tell me why you decided to go that route? This is the second book here with the 11. It's short stories, and then this is actually a character-driven novel, as you said. This is more short thoughts. How did you decide to do it that way?
Oh, it was basically because it was such a heavy feeling, like when that creative moment comes and I know I'm going to do a novel or a short story or a screenplay or a stage play even, which I just started, but it's just something that I feel like I have to do, and
I see.
Yeah, it's just...
Now, you've done a lot of different things with your life. I read the back of your book, Jackets Here. It's talking about how you did some modeling and some acting.
Oh, right.
How did you know that writing, which is seeming to be the thing that you're doing now, because it sounds like you're a chameleon type person,
Yes.
how did you know writing was really your calling and the way to go for you?
Oh, okay. Basically, when I did the first draft, it was done in 7 months, and I submitted it to this author who was basically a guy, he was a military author, J.W. Ryan, in Boston, and he was telling me he's kind of retired. He did some ghostwriting on the side, but he said that, you know, you have the gift, just keep with it. And so basically I edited it by myself for a year and found that that is very difficult, and finally found someone at Florida International University to help me put the scenes in order, because there were two different writing styles employed in Two Bottle Dolphins. The first two-thirds take place in North Miami Beach. It's very sequel driven. You have emotion, thought, decision, and action, as opposed to a scene structure where you have a scene goal, conflict, and then a disaster that moves the protagonist, what he wants, further back into the more obstacles. So basically that's...
Okay. Now, your books have a lot of your own personal life experiences in them, which of course we would expect. What I'm getting here, though, is that you use these kind of to help you with recovery and to map out your personal recovery. Would you mind sharing a little bit with those watching today how you do that? Because I think it's important for people, when they take those steps through recovery, to have different ways to approach getting through it. So would you mind sharing with us a little bit?
No, not at all. I think, you know, when I do go to meetings, of course, and I think as an alcoholic, time is the alcoholic's worst enemy. Basically, you're more likely to relapse and slip up, I think. So when you do a novel, or at least when I did the novel, I found that you have to really work every day at it. So if I was sick, too bad, you know, I knew I had to get down, and it really wasn't bad, though. I mean, I would normally spend about 2 hours in that creativity. You know, you could usually get what I did is write about 500 to 1,000 words a day. You know, I kind of took Hemingway's Discipline, where you write 500
Writers
words.
have to write every day, is what I heard in college. So
you do.
So you use that to help you to kind of stay focused on something other than whatever your issues were that were causing you to drink or have problems.
Yeah.
Do some of your characters have qualities or incidents that happened to you before you were in recovery that you turned into part of the story?
Yes. For instance, the short story, one of the short stories, there's 11 in the book with the 11, and one of them is called Nomad Monks, and that was based on where I grew up in Norwood, basically kind of childhood dreams. You know, you'd go in the backwoods and you think, you know, what are we going to do together? And so that was something that really came from a long way off, and it was written, the voice there was very different than anything I've ever done before. So,
do you feel like these are different parts of your personality turned into people? Characters that you make from different parts of who you are? That's what it's sounding like to me, that you take events of your life and you spin them into characters, and then you drop them into stories. It sounds really fascinating.
You do spin it like that, and then imagination, like Lauren Bacall said, it's the highest kite one can fly. So it's great to start that way and then turn it into something else, which is what fiction is all about.
And to have something tangible that you can really hold on to. Now, I know we don't have too much time left, but you have a third work that's coming up. Tell us about that, and tell us where we can get these books.
Okay, the third work is called Gray Sheep, and it's set on Martha's Vineyard. This will be about domestic violence, and it's being pitched to agents in New York City. 6 out of 10 requested. We had a short pitch session at the Writer's Digest seminar.
That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you. So we'll see how that goes. Some have requested 30 pages, some the full manuscript. But the books themselves are available at my website, which is rjgrantwriter.com, and also Author House, which is the publisher of Two Bottle Dolphins. Virtual Bookworm, which is the with the 11 Virtual Bookworm, and also on barnesandnoble.com. So that's bn.com.
And that's where we can get them.
That's where you can get them.
Anything else you'd like our viewers to know today, either about the world of writing or yourself, or just really why you came here today?
Okay, yes, the world of writing, it's a wonderful thing. I mean, I really don't know what I would do otherwise. I mean, because it's just so, you just feel, you see how everything's connected, and I think that can happen for, you know, for any type of writer. It doesn't have to be, it can be of someone who writes for a magazine or or brochures. I just think that it's, you know, it's how I relate to society at large and myself. And yeah, it's amazing. If you blow a little love into something, it rises to the stratosphere, you know. So something, it's usually based, like you said before, on people I know, and that's why it's rewarding to finally get to, you know, in print or on film. I have a couple of DVDs. One's a sitcom pilot and one is a short film. And then I just wrote, we haven't filmed this, but this is a surfing movie, a full-length feature. Yeah.
So someday I could say, and we all could say watching today, that we met somebody pretty famous. You're going to be up in the big screen.
I'll be
One of these days I'm going to be at the IMAX and there's going to be your name for a screenplay. Thank you so much for sharing with us what you go through to get this onto the page. And I hope you folks will get out there, get to Barnes & Noble. You doing any local book signings coming up where we can see you?
No, basically I've done the signings that I'm going to do.
Okay, so we have to go to barnesandnoble.com to get you.
Yes.
And otherwise, will you come back again when you've finished your third work and tell us how it's going?
Absolutely, I'll be happy to.
Excellent. That's Robert Jeffrey Grant. So take a look at these two books, With the 11 and The Two Bottled Dolphins, and we'll be back with more of WCTV's Where's Wilmington right after this.
Oh no! Bonsai Cat is attacking the village! Mighty Bonsai Cat is stalking before the final kill. We'll never get out of here alive if he sees us! We'll never escape in time. Ah! Medic! Medic! Is this the end of civilization? Mighty Bonsai Cat waits no more! Ah! With one flick of the tail, it's all over! Colonel, where's that airstrike order? The bombers are useless against Bonsai Cat!
Think of all the fun you can have with an adopted pet. Contact your local shelter or pet adoption center.
I'm Jonathan Weaver from PAC 361, and you're watching WCTV, Wilmington Community Television.
Hello and welcome back for the second half of Where's Wilmington. You know, today's show's a little different. The first half we talked about being an author and how that can help you to kind of get out of your troubles. The author was talking, Jeffrey, was talking a little bit about how when you have things going on, sometimes you need focus. So we're going to switch our focus and talk a little bit about athletic performance with Craig Gallaway of Cats.
How you doing?
Tell me, you got your little logo shirt on there. Cats, where the athletes train.
Right.
What does that stand for?
CAT stands for the Competitive Athlete Training Zone.
Okay.
So we're not a takeoff on the Wilmington Wildcats, as many people kind of wonder. But yeah, it actually is a name that came from, it's a franchise, so it came from our corporate.
So athletes.
Yes.
Not your regular average aerobic doing ladies we've got here. We got some little more hardcore going on. Tell me about it.
We do. To preface that, I guess I'll say we consider everyone an athlete.
Okay.
All right. So we have programs available for kids as young as 6 years old up till 70, 80 years old. Okay. And so we look at everybody as an athlete. Our focus, however, and I guess what really put us on the map and the people who look to our training more frequently than others are the athletes.
Okay.
So that's really where we dial in, and we have some things that are very targeted that we provide to youth, primarily youth athletes looking to improve their
to have that competitive edge.
Absolutely.
I mean, today with scholarships available and kids really using their sports and their talent to kind of catapult them to the next level, they need assistance.
Absolutely.
Is that what you at Cats do?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we try to look at everyone very much as an individual, and then we design training programs that will basically assist them, improve their performance, and the other key component of that is to keep them injury-free.
Oh yeah, that's very important.
Big stuff going on with injury prevention.
How Cats is different than, say, any other local gym or program I would go to at a gym that I would put my child in. Give me a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look at why you're different and why we really have you here.
Sure. People are starting to discover that typical training methods of going to the gym are not necessarily going to elevate somebody's performance on an athletic field.
Okay, so they're looking for a different result, maybe a result that they've read about on the web or different magazines that they can get, and they're not getting there and they're wondering why, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
You guys come along and say,
yeah,
this is why.
Yeah, we put you through a program that's very based on athletic movement and motion. Okay. And that's one of the reasons why we call everyone an athlete, because we all move very athletically throughout the day. Getting out of bed, opening a car door, are complex movement patterns. Typical weight room and fitness facility activities are very linear and very guided. So you're on a machine that dictates a range of motion. You're on a piece of cardio equipment that's linear, very straightforward. We can all relate to that. You know, we just get and go. You know, we're on our machine and we're just going, and no thought involved. Athletics is very complicated. You're moving, you're reacting, you're doing things in very different ways, having to rely on your physical abilities to twist and turn and explode.
You were talking about the mind-body connection
Absolutely.
more than just the physical rote of, I did my 100 sit-ups, I did my circuit training. You're talking about what NASA talks about, connecting the mind to
very
the body.
Perceptive.
Yes,
you are good. I got to tell you, that's pretty good.
I have the big job.
I know.
So you are trying to train your athletes how to use their mind to get to the performance level they want. Aha!
Yeah, it's a neuromuscular connection, and that comes from practice. You have to practice these complex movement patterns. You have to be put in these positions so that you develop that connection.
Okay, so say I'm a guy who's been going to the gym my whole life. When I come to you, am I going to be doing the same types of squats and different things that I've done my whole life? Or are you going to try to mix it up a little bit?
We're going to mix it up. We're definitely going to mix it up. With our training program, we have a pretty set prescription of a flow, but then we mix it in with we have a repertoire of hundreds and hundreds of exercises that are what you would consider non-standard, okay?
Right.
Stuff that if you saw somebody doing it at the gym, you'd kind of look at them maybe a little funny.
Like what?
Bear crawls, okay? That's always a fun one. Can you imagine yourself down on a piece of AstroTurf doing a bear crawl?
Well, only when I've dropped stuff under my
Exactly,
car,
and scrambling to do that.
Yes.
But that's a real life example of how everyone's an athlete, because we all get ourselves into these funny, awkward positions all the time.
I kind of like that concept of everyone's an athlete too. Even though some of our athletes are pretty dormant, we can still awaken them and get them out of there. Now, I know there's probably some ladies watching the program who are probably thinking, this sounds like testosterone city, maybe I don't want to go there. What would you say to that? Is this friendly for women as well?
Absolutely. It's one of those types of training where, in fact, the women sometimes are tougher and more mentally able to really get involved into the workout than some of the guys. It's all ability appropriate. So whether you're someone who's starting fresh, haven't worked out in a long time, the thing about, because of the nature of the program, everything's led by a trainer. It's not one-on-one private training, but it's semi-private training because we have group sizes that are limited based on the nature of the class to make sure that we have the right mix of training to attendance. So, you know, if you're somebody who hasn't done stuff in a long time, or a female who might feel like it's intimidating, it's much less intimidating than going to a gym where people are throwing around these big heavy weights and doing that kind of thing. This is more functional. This is more like the field of play. This is more natural to the things that you'd probably be involved in or doing anyway.
I see. So although it may be more physically demanding, it may be mentally easier for you to assimilate it because it's more natural.
It's more natural. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me what we see when we come to your location, and where are you folks?
We are located on Concord Street, very close to the Shriners Auditorium. So it's a building back in there. And 64 Concord Street, should I put that in there?
Sure.
And what you're going to see is a very lean facility. You're going to walk in, you're going to see a nice clean lobby area, and you're going to see a section of AstroTurf and a little track area and a very modest weight area. No machinery, some dumbbells, some medicine balls, some things that look cool, but it's a very athletic looking facility, and it's not bogged down with a lot of machines and weights and things like that.
And a lot of that stuffy advertising junk that you see too. You guys are just streamlined, you're there to do your stuff.
Lean and mean.
Move on.
Yeah.
Okay. When someone is thinking about starting working out, do you really feel it's important that they consult their physician first before they come and see you? I know everybody always says that, but I really want to get your take on that.
Well, absolutely. And it's one of the things where if you're going to get started on anything, you should, you know, we should always have an annual physical. It's everything that we can do to get a barometer on where we are is a positive thing. So I definitely encourage that, you know, for everyone who's getting involved.
Even the kids? Even
the kids. Well, they should be seeing a physician on a regular basis anyway, because they're growing and their bodies have unique needs and demands, just like the athlete has unique needs and demands. So we don't, not just physicians, but you want a full support team of people. If you're going through something like athletic competition especially. You know, you want your physician, you may want to consult chiropractic or physical therapy if you've had any injuries. I mean, you need to kind of put together this network of people to help you get through that. Nutrition is another biggie that people really don't have the right knowledge of. I mean, the athletic demands are pretty unique. So eating right is, you know, a key component.
Right, the three pieces. You're talking about, you know, hydration, nutrition, and exercise.
Absolutely.
You need all three.
Yeah, you got to.
Why do you do what you do?
Well, you know, I love it.
I can see that. That's why I asked you.
I have a degree in engineering.
Okay.
And
but that's got to work, because this sounds like engineering comes to workout land.
That's right.
It sounds kind of like you've mapped it out to be very linear and logical, which is what engineers do.
Yeah, it tends to be. You know, I looked at the business and I said, you know, the personalized attention that we can provide and the way we can map out a good training program. I wrestled in college. I have 4 children. We're all very...
So you're still wrestling on a daily basis?
I'm still wrestling on a daily basis.
Right.
And so it was something where I felt like I could get my family involved, be doing something that I really enjoyed.
Right.
And, you know,
well, you can practice what
great.
you preach, too, which is good. You can stay fit and do it as a job. That's
Absolutely.
kind of a win-win for you. You guys are franchised.
We are.
Cats has a parent company. Why did you go that route instead of reinventing the wheel and doing it all on your own and having Craig Gallaway fitness centers all over the country? Why did you approach it from a franchise
I suppose
perspective?
if I went to college and got degreed in exercise science like most of my trainers have, and been through and worked my way up through a fitness career, it probably would not have gone a franchise route. But since I did go the engineering route and established a whole separate career path, in order to make that change, I felt the support and the program. I don't know if I could have reinvented the wheel the way they have done, and I think it was a phenomenal product. There are others out there that I probably could have gotten involved in or tried to replicate, but I just really felt very comfortable with what Cats is. Yeah, definitely.
Why did you like their approach more than another company that you could have gone with? What is different about Cats, their approach to things, that you really liked?
Well, they're young, so I felt like, for one, I could help influence the course. So they weren't like Dunkin' Donuts where, hey, you sign a franchise and this is it.
You're making the lattes, buddy.
Exactly. You have you can't do your own market. You can't, you know. So it was a small enough franchise that I felt like, you know, I could use my own business abilities and ideas to help shape the course of the overall franchise. I liked the guys at corporate were very willing and have been very willing to accept feedback and work with me because they are new in developing the franchise. And from a numbers perspective, I thought the business model was the one that made the most sense of anything else that I looked at.
Right, and let's face it, there are a lot of fitness arenas out there, so you would need support to help you if you got stuck.
Absolutely.
You could have somebody to talk to, kind of, this doesn't seem to be working, what can we do from here?
And that's
because there is a
totally
lot available
important
out there.
Oh, there is.
There is.
Yeah, there's so many things, but I didn't want to be standard. I didn't want to be like, you know, the Bally's or the, you know, the typical fitness facility, because that just wasn't my nature. You know, Cats were very community. You asked for what makes us a little different is, you know, we're very focused on community, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here is, you know, we want to be a part of the community. We want to go out and see the kids that we have in the facility perform in athletics and do well, and you know, it's not just the business.
I'm going to have to ask you a tough question.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Kids in sports today, I know that there are some feelings from some undercurrents that we're pressuring them too much, that we're having them do too much at a young age and get too burnt out, I think, with sports.
Absolutely.
How do you at Cats approach that when you've got the parents who are kind of like the stage moms or stage dads, and they think their kid's going to be the next Wayne Gretzky or whatever? How do you really approach that with the ability of the child being what it is, but the parents seeing it a little differently? What's your take on that?
Well, it's tough. I mean, we try to temper that as much as we can with whatever our dose of reality is.
Right.
And it's, you know, being an engineer, if I have to have those difficult conversations, it's a numbers game. You know, we start at 6 years old where every single kid plays youth soccer.
Right.
And then it funnels down, and as they get older, there's dropouts, the competition improves until we get up to the very elite levels where only a fraction of a percentage of the people ever reach that. And so that's just the reality. And so what we try to offer and try to say is that we're going to optimize the experience that they're having. You know, whether it be that they are trying to make the team or they're trying to get the scholarship or elevate to that very next level, we're going for your personal best, and we're trying to do it safely so that you get the most. I mean, athletics is a great experience. Life lessons are learned through what you do when you compete in sports. We want to make sure
what do you learn?
Leadership. You know, it's one of those things where you know, you look at people and work ethic, you know, going to practice every day where other kids are going home and playing video games or doing other things. That's a commitment.
True.
To keep
character building. These are
character building. All those types of things athletics provide. But if you drop out when you're 12 because you're not quite good enough or you're not feeling, you know, the competition is there, you know, then you're not maybe getting those experiences. Hopefully you find it in other activities. We do, but hope that kids find that. But if you want to, if you enjoy it, we want to make it the best possible for you, so you are getting that out of it.
Excellent.
You know, that's
anything final. Can you believe our time's almost up?
I can't.
I told you
that was excellent.
That you'd like our viewers to know. I know you want them to come and visit you, and I believe we're going to put your address and website up on the screen. So can you tell us what you'd like from us as a community?
Well, just to give us a try. We are different, and the key, and I hope I got a little bit of it across today, is that we are different, and it's something that it's very hard to verbalize and show just in a 15-minute conversation, which was wonderful, by the way. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
But it's something that you have to come and experience. We offer free trials all the time. We want you to try it. We're never going to ask you. We're not at Health Club. We're not going to take you in the back room and beat you over the head and try to get you to sign on the dotted line.
Okay,
we want you to try it and understand what we're offering, the value of the service that we're offering.
Okay, and if it's not for you, maybe something else is, but if it is for you and your family?
We'll try to help you find whatever is right for you, if CATS is not the right one.
That's an excellent commitment.
So.
All right, well, Craig Gallaway at CATS.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming. I wish you the best with what you're doing.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So get on down to Concord Road, right?
It's 64 Concord, and if our website's up on the screen and our phone number, you can reach me there anytime.
And you were there Monday through Sunday?
We're there Monday through Saturday.
Okay. So you take that day of rest. That's important. You got to have that.
Small staff, so we got to give them one day off.
Even athletes rest one day out of the week.
That's right. They should too.
So thank you for watching. You've been watching Where's Wilmington, and the next time somebody asks you Where's Wilmington, you tell them right here and right here on WCTV. Thanks for watching.